of Boston and jumped in with both feet. And I truly want to thank you, and I've said that many times, but without Blue Cross Blue Shield, we would not be announcing the Office of Recovery Services today, so I want to thank you for that. Who put a lot of effort and time in here, and I know most of the advisory committee personally. I know your passion around the issue of addiction and recovery, and I think that, when we talk about, Audrey mentioned this, we talk about what we do in Massachusetts and in Boston, we do it right as compared to other parts of the country, and I truly want to thank the advisory commission, because this isn't an office that's being launched today, and in 5 years from now we're going to talk, we have an office but it doesn't do anything. What we're really going to do some real outcomes here. And the advisory committee had that mindset. I want to thank all the members of the advisory committee that are here. If you wouldn't mind, if you want to stand up, just like you can see, I know there's a few people here. Please stand up, advisory committee. I want to thank a couple people here. One is a woman that I worked with for 16 years and 8 months at the State House, and passionate advocate on behalf of people for her district, but also people in the city of Boston, and that's State Representative Gloria Fox. I want to thank State Representative. I also want to thank somebody who I met many years ago. I've known her probably almost my whole life because she was involved in the public eye, but I had a chance to actually sit down with her when I was a state representative to talk about alcohol advertising on MBTA stations and then a whole bunch of other issues, and certainly understood her passion and got to know her very well, and now I can regard her as a friend and advisor, a personal friend and advisor. That's Kitty Dukakis. And I want to thank Demick. I want to thank Dr. Mentor Jordan for allowing us to be here today, but also for the services that they provide here. This campus is a model for the rest of the nation. What happens in this campus? You have the services that need to happen here. We have a detox, we have a holding, we have a halfway house, we have a medical facility, we have aftercare treatment, we have day treatment. We have everything that we need right here on the street here. And Dr. Mentor Jordan and all of you at Demick have been incredible partner here, and I look forward to, as we continue to move forward and look at our model. Thank you for your support. I look forward to the new programs that are going to be built here and everything that we're doing, so thank you very much. Audrey mentioned my vision, spoke about my vision of this office. This isn't my vision. This is the families that are struggling out there that have a loved one, they don't know what to do with them. This is their vision on providing opportunities and care for people, for families that just don't have a place to go. Many of you in this room, we either were or are in that situation, or you know somebody that's in that situation because you work in the field. I think about recovery. For 17 years, when I got elected state representative, I did a lot of work at the State House to fight for addiction money. When I first started 17 years ago, when I remember my first budget, I didn't have a lot of friends that understood about the issue. It was kind of in the closet or behind the door or under the rug, wherever it was, no one spoke about it. And over time, we're able to wear down and bring an awareness to addiction. And it's to a point where a lot of people are talking about it now. And as I was sitting here, I stared off into the daydream a little bit here, and Felix said, "You okay?" I was thinking about, what do you say to a group of people that do this every single day? And how do we get a message across to the press? And how do we get out into the public? And about 8 months ago, there was a fear in Boston that we were going to have an outbreak of Ebola. And we had every national press outlet covering it. We had it on the paper every day. It was in the newspaper every day. We were worried about an epidemic of Ebola breaking out in our city and people dying. And there was a concern that we were going to lose all kinds of people if we didn't get this under control. We were setting up rooms of quarantine. We were setting up special rooms in hospitals. We were getting doctors ready. We were really, how are we going to deal with this issue? And what happened? Thank God we didn't have an outbreak of Ebola. But at that same time, mothers were burying their kids, spouses were burying their other spouse. We were losing people every single day because of a needle in an arm, or alcohol, or drugs. And we weren't worried about that epidemic spreading throughout the country. And that's happening in our country every single day. Since I've been a mayor of Boston, I'm sure I know this for a fact, I know people that have died from an overdose. Personally. Since I'm a mayor of Boston, I know families have lost loved ones. I still get those calls from people saying we need help. You know, we're struggling. People are struggling out in the streets. And my vision for this office isn't my vision for this office. I'll go back to that. It's our vision on what we have to do when it's time for us to stand up. We need to make sure that as we talk about treatment, that we have it available. We need to make sure that we keep the numbers, and Audrey mentioned numbers, and I think they're all good numbers, but I'd be willing to bet those numbers are a lot higher. Okay, they're a lot higher. We all know that. You know, alcohol, the binge drinking, 25%. I know myself personally, when I was given a little test 20 years ago about what I did, I kind of twisted the numbers a little bit, so my numbers were a lot higher. But it is important for us to track data. It's important for us to keep track of what we're doing. The Office of Recovery Service in the City of Boston, it's the first in the state. Now we have the Bureau of Substance Abuse Services in the state that handles the contracts and handles a lot of things, but it's the first in the state and probably the first in the country. And it's an opportunity for us here in Boston to make a difference, to work on making sure that we put the findings out onto the street and keep track of the findings. Make sure that we just don't have those findings and say, okay, we have an epidemic and well, we're going to deal with it, we're going to throw some money at detox beds. We need to work on strategies. We need to work collectively together to find out how do we share best practices and how do we finally continue to deal with the issue of addiction. We need to make sure that as this office is created, it grows and changes and evolves to meet the needs of the particular times. We know that we have to secure more money, we know that. We know we have to secure more access to programs, we know that. We know all of those things. But we need to build pathways. We need to build pathways to help people recover. Or we need to build pathways and create pathways so we can prevent people from getting addicted in the first place. Well, thank you. That's what our office is going to do. Our